So the last part of the design for the front suspension that I need to do is the upper control arm, and I'm going to go with a traditional J arm on this one. So that means the inboard rod ends are mounted in front of the pivot point on the tall knuckle, and the part takes the shape of a J. On the previous design, I had kept the rod ends on the same angle pointed towards the spherical bearing, but what I realized after the fact was that disallowed me from adjusting the camber. And the reason to orient the rod ends perpendicular to the spherical bearing is that you can adjust those threads in and out to adjust camber. But the sacrifice that you make there is you have a phenomenon called rod ends in bending, meaning that the direction of the load is at a slight angle with respect to the threads of the rod end. So it reduces strength a little bit for the purpose of adjustability. Now, on the Ultra 4 design, I wanted it to be as bomb-proof as possible. And since that was designed for a low grip environment at moderate speeds, camber adjustment was not at the top of mind. It was just strength. But for this design, since it's going on a trophy truck, it's going to be going really, really fast, and camber adjustment is critical for handling. And there's just, the reality is with the tall knuckle design, there's not a ton of loads on this upper control arm. It's that moment arm is spread out so far that any force imparted on the wheel gets reduced by this gigantic moment arm afforded to you by the tall knuckle. And those rod ends are also enormous, the biggest ones I could find. So I'm really not worried about building everything to be the strongest it could possibly be. I'm interested in building it to be as strong as it can be without sacrificing adjustability for handling. So you can see the part starting to take that J shape here. And I'm just going to have some little cutouts to clamp those rod ends. And this is a pretty common practice for a part like this. Now, the one design compromise that I made on this that I ended up walking back was this was going to be a single shear mount, meaning that the part was going to bolt to the tall knuckle only on one side in a single shear configuration. I just don't think that's the right move. What I ended up doing was adding a support piece on the back so that it could be properly double sheared and extra strong.